Welcome to Future Horizons, the Tempest podcast. I'm your host, Sevi Watmo. 6 years on from the launch of Team Tempest at Farnborough International Air Show in 2018, this year's air show played host to the Global Combat Air Programme, a transformational partnership between the UK, Italy and Japan to design, develop and deliver a next-generation combat aircraft. Exhibiting at the show together for the first time, the three nations of the trilateral endeavour unveiled a new concept model reflecting the significant progress made in the design of this future fighter jet. Future Horizons was at the air show to speak with the business development leads from the Team Tempest partners, the UK industry partners on GCAP, and the current FCAS Chief Engineer for the Royal Air Force. Our panel joined my colleague Mark Gunning to discuss the reactions of visitors, the progress in the delivery of the aircraft, and the role of events like Farnborough in highlighting the benefits of the programme and inspiring future generations of aviators and engineers.
Hello and welcome from Farnborough International Air Show. Joining me for this special air show edition of Future Horizons are our business development leads from across the Team Tempest industrial partners who've all been working extremely hard this week, highlighting the exciting work being undertaken by Team Tempest and our partners in Japan and Italy as part of the Global Combat Air Programme. So first things first, let's kick off and go around the table with everyone introducing themselves.
Hi, I'm John Stocker, BA Systems Business Development Director.
Good morning, Dave Morris. I am Head of Campaigns, Future Combat Air for Leonardo UK.
Good morning, John McCullough. I'm the Business Development Lead for NBDA.
And Mark Tivey from Rolls-Royce. I'm the Business Development Director.
Thank you. Also joining us is the Royal Air Force FCAS Chief Engineer, Liz. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning.
Okay, well, thank you, everyone. And thank you for joining us for this special edition of Future Horizons. So let's jump straight in. This is the first time that the Trilateral Global Combat Air Programme has been at Farnborough, and we've come with a brand new model of Tempest, the UK name for the aircraft being delivered by GCAP. For those not lucky enough to be at the show, can you describe the model and how it's evolved from its previous show that people may have seen? So John Stocker, BA Systems is the lead integrator for the UK, so maybe you can start us off.
Yeah, sure, Mark. No, I think so. It's been a fantastic week so far. As you say, we've had the opportunity to reveal this incredible model, at full scale, and the scale itself is something that I think absolutely is blowing people away. The opportunity to interact with it, the opportunity to see the progress that's being made on the programme, both obviously with ourselves as Team Tempest partners at the heart of it, but really importantly with our international partners. And being here today with the team here, the UK team as well as the international team, is also really compelling for our stakeholders to see a really strong partnership and a really common message coming from all of us. So some of the features obviously that's been grabbing the headlines is around the shape of the wing, the whole work on the design that's come forward, and all of that I'm really, in all the conversations I'm having, it's all about showing people that is the product of real work, both within the UK team but also importantly in the international team. And you hear the likes of the Prime Minister, the likes of the Secretary of State, all sorts of key stakeholders are really recognising that progress and the importance that it drives in terms of their support to the programme as well.
So we've spoken about the many visitors and delegates over the last few days. What has the reception of the model been like? It sounds like it's been really, really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, the team's done a great job of putting the show together overall and having that as the centrepiece. But I think also, really importantly, all of the partners here as well in terms of the power and propulsion and the ISANKI and the ICS and the effectors domain, being able to tell the story at all levels of the partnership. We've got some fantastic assets as well. We've really got a strong campaign that we're running together. And again, it's important to have all the marketing assets to go with that, because that's what helps lots of our stakeholders who frankly aren't that close to the programme and talk about some really complex pieces of technology, complex work, complex joint development activities that's ongoing. We've got to bring that to life for people, and I think what we've got going now as a team, it really does that. And again, we've had enormous amounts of football through the stands from, as I said earlier, very, very senior people, but also quite frankly just interested parties, trades, journalists, broader media, all sorts of folk obviously clearly from different services, and now as well importantly from a very international audience. Clearly it's the Farnborough International Air Show, and we've garnered a huge amount of interest from all around the world. So I think we've got a really strong message, we've got a really strong story, and we tell it really well together as a team.
Yes, I think to back up what John said there, the shape of the aircraft has changed quite dramatically since the first reveal back in 2018, 2019. So it's a real key to be able to tell the story of how the development has happened, and that's paralleled by the developments we've had in the international space and the relationships we've formed with Italy and Japan. So as John said, it's a very, very strong story, and the assets that we've got around us here today enable us to tell that really strong story.
I think one of the things for me that's been excellent about this week is that having us all together here as the team, and we're all here talking, GCAP and Tempest, having the big aeroplane there, it is striking, as John said. It is everything. People say, "Gosh, is that it?" It's a big aeroplane, which it is, and also for the rest of us who are in the different domains, all the technology and equipment we're working on, we can say we're developing all this, and it's going to go into that aeroplane. All of this technology and equipment that we're developing is going into that to deliver that capability for the Royal Air Force and our other customers. And that's been, this is it all for me, showing it all coming together now. And as the one team has really struck me. But apart from the striking of the, gosh, look at that aeroplane, and it really is quite mind-blowing. It is a real wow looking at it. It's very impressive. And with all of the different displays being projected onto it as well, it's looking really good.
Yeah, because the plane is sort of the wow factor.
Yeah.
But actually, a lot of the conversation takes place at the product, at the technology level. So again, Leonardo and your partners, Isanki and ICS table, again, really powerful. Yeah. Gone digital. Again, key message around what we're doing as a program overall, and equally, the power and propulsion demo. Lovely model, firstly, really important, but also well designed, clearly. But also again, highly interactive and blending the physical and the digital. Again, drives all sorts of different messages around what we're doing as a program.
But I think that's one of the important things that we as a team, and part of the story that we're telling, is that development work that's taken place before we are effectively launching the product, designing the aircraft. The amount of technology maturation that's taken place since 2018 within the Team Tempest environment really is the foundation for how we're going to take this program forward. That's what gives us confidence and enables the 4 of us, 5 of us, to project that confidence that we can achieve that capability, and we can achieve that capability in the timeframes that are going to be challenging, but we can achieve.
I was going to say, from MBJ point of view, just being here with the effectors and showcasing some of the effectors we can provide, I think it's really important to sort of bring that whole system together, and also in terms of maturing the technology, looking at the synthetic effectors integration work that we're doing, which really benefits everyone in the team, and for the customers, being able to put different effectors on more rapidly and cheaper. It's going to be good for everyone as we look at the pacing of threats in the future as well. So I think, as John was saying, just having the whole team here and showing it as a system, and how we can collaborate and get a better capability for the customer in the future is important.
Liz, I was going to say, from your perspective, have you had a sense of how it's been received by the Royal Air Force and people seeing it? Because it really does take your breath away when you see the model.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. So I think being an engineer, real privilege to work in the cutting edge of technology within the military, and this is just an amazing example. I'm really seeing it come to life, and I kind of agree there with Mark in terms of the technological advancements to get there, and what's behind the model and everything that's gone into it. Fantastic and really exciting opportunity for the engineers in the RAF.
And I think you've mentioned some of the key visitors to the show. They're obviously extreme highlights for the show, having the Prime Minister come around, the Minister for Defence Procurement coming around. Any other highlights from around the group that we think we want to share with people?
I mean, I think the platform we're creating, literally and metaphorically, has given massive opportunity for the profile that we've seen in the last few days alone. And for me, another really poignant moment was yesterday when the Japanese Defence Minister used our program as a backdrop, and a very impressive backdrop again with the aircraft, with all the projection, to make for his sort of keynote speech essentially whilst he is at the show. And it's fantastic to see that it is providing so much visibility for the program, and again such a visible sign of support, and from a Japanese very, very senior individual, and obviously everything he represents, how he views the program, how our partners in Japan view the program. So for me, that was a really exciting moment to sort of see that and be able to support that from a program point of view.
One of the things that I think has been really interesting this week has also been the opportunity to engage with some of our key subcontractors, the people that we will rely on to help us achieve this program. So welcoming some of them through has been really important, because we talk a lot about transformation within Team Tempest, and it's a core part of what we're trying to achieve and what we're trying to do. We're changing the way we run these programs. We're going to be reliant on a great deal of UK supply base to help us do that. So bringing them through and showing them the reality of what we've achieved, showing them how the progress of this project is going, has been important, because the apprentices that are at Rolls-Royce and BAE and MBDA and Leonardo and in the RAF are vital to help us go through this, but so is that subcontracting base. You know, around 70% of what Rolls-Royce receives in terms of revenue finds its way into our subcontracting base, and we need them to transform as well. And it provides a fantastic opportunity for apprentices right across the UK, not just in the core 4 companies, to be involved in what is a really cutting-edge program that is going to be developed for many, many years, and for developing the technologies that will make the UK competitive for many, many years. Things like additive layer manufacturing, enterprise modelling. It's a really important blue sky program, literally blue sky program, to move the UK forward, not just the 4 companies that you see around the table today.
And it's great having also, as we tend to, but again, absolutely as part of our presence here, our apprentices and graduates as part of the team that are telling the story on behalf of the programme, on behalf of all the partners. And quite frankly, you know, they are always key attractors for our stakeholders and visitors, especially our political stakeholders. We want to hear from them, they want to hear their experiences, why it matters to them, you know, this programme. So again, it's always great to be able to tell that sort of very multi-layered story about, you know, what Tempest, what GCAP, what FCAS is bringing to the UK.
I think that's, you know, this is, you know, going back, this is for the long term. All the apprentices from our companies, we've got about 1,000 apprentices across the 4 companies at the moment, and you know, they could spend their whole career on this program, 30 to 40 years. So this, and just seeing, you know, the big aeroplane there and the other stands, we're developing all this stuff, and this really is cutting edge future technology. Certainly from the ISANKI and ICS point of view, you know. We've been pretty good, very, very good at making radars and sensors over the years. We're taking a huge leap forward now, and this program is allowing this. And talking to other small companies as well, people coming on, we talk about spillover, technology spilling over, but technology spilling into the program as well. Things like, very importantly, AI. We'll be employing a huge amount of AI on this program and drawing in these specialist small companies and machine learning, drawing in these small companies and giving them a marketplace for this to really generate that new technology for this country. Really, really important. There's lots of SMEs out there which will be drawing in, and this will allow them to really flourish, I think. And you know, not just for the industrial apprentices, but for the young aviators you'll be training. There's at Cosford. You know, this is huge. This is completely different. And I said, you know, there'll be young guys and girls that you'll be trained. That there'll be, you know, chief techs and Sengos and all that sort of stuff in the future, in a few years' time. And they could spend their whole career doing this really exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous, right? So I'd love to be the senior engineering officer on the squadron of one of these. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, I go back to the opportunities that this presents, not only from a capability perspective for the Royal Air Force, but all the supporting elements, and from that engineering perspective, absolutely. The opportunities and the skill sets that we will develop over the coming years, fantastic opportunity.
It's really coming apparent that the theme here is progression, progress and advancement. So people who might not be at Farnborough, this is an opportunity to talk to them about how things might have progressed since they may have seen us at DSEI in Japan, or in DSEI in London last year. Also, how Team Tempest has been key to that progression. Is there anything we can say?
I mean, one thing I definitely want to highlight is, in terms of the UK FCAS programme, clearly we're going to be running a long-term UK FCAS programme, as well as the importance, of course, of the Global Combat Air Programme collaboration for the core platform. We've got to, and we've been, trying very clearly here as part of our exhibition, is to keep a focus also on the breadth of that future UK programme. And I mean, Dave was just saying, that's the space that the industry, that all the partners, and obviously the capability from a customer point of view will also be delivered in from a broader UK perspective. And one of the things that's been really great to be able to talk about a bit more this week as well is the flying demonstrator, which is making some really positive progress since it was announced back in 2022, and the team were sort of sharing a bit more around that. I'm sure people will be able to read in terms of the good progress we're making, in terms of what's happening, in terms of the sort of the manufacturing element of all that now, and sort of the major units. And that is a real program that is delivering, but also importantly, back to what Dave was saying around the skills piece, that from our point of view, and I know from the partners' point of view, is an absolutely critical asset for us. We've got hundreds of people working on that, and a lot of early careers colleagues that are working on that and developing their skills, working with more experienced colleagues and sort of passing that knowledge on, but also, frankly, co-creating together, because that is breaking new ground. It's a European first. It will be supersonic crewed low observable aircraft, and that's just fantastic to see. And again, when we take people around, for some people that we can show a bit more to, they are blown away by what's happening on that. And even if you talk about just even the engine ducting element of that, clearly great work with Rolls-Royce as well in all of that. This is next generation capability technology that's being developed today in the UK for the good of the FCAS programme as well as the GCAP programme, and it absolutely benefits all of our people, including our early careers teams. So it's really fantastic.
You talked about progression. I think momentum is another thing now. The momentum is really building. I mean, how many people? We've got about 3,500 people working within the UK at the moment. That's only going to get bigger and bigger. And everyone is working hard, and we're looking long term here, and the momentum is just getting greater and greater, both within the UK and with our international partners as well. And it's more than just the core platform out there. As John said, there's so many other parts of the future combat air system that's going to be being developed as well. So just very exciting.
Yeah, just to kind of echo John's points really with regard to the engine demonstrator program. So we are building a full-scale engine demonstrator that will run in Bristol in the next few years and provide us with a lot of learnings to be able to take into the design of the product that will eventually power GCAP. We've placed long lead items for out into the supply chain for this. This is not a theoretical exercise being done on a drawing board or on a CAD screen. This program is really coming to life. There are tangible pieces of equipment now that we can point to, which are all part of that de-risking journey, which gives us the confidence that the capability can be achieved and the schedule can be achieved. So Dave's absolutely right. The momentum on this program is really picking up, and it's an important time. And just to go back to an earlier point, actually, with regard to the opportunities for careers in this space, now is the time to be joining this program. Clearly you've picked me because I have a great face for radio, but my career will come to an end during the sort of next few years of this program. It depends what I say on this it depends what I say on the podcast. It might come to conclusion much earlier, but we don't know. But one of the things that I say to the teams back in Bristol is that people will have entire careers in between when this thing comes into service and when it goes out of service. So being part of this program now, the opportunity to shape the way this program will develop is a privilege that you will look back on in your career as a real seminal moment, a real high. So the momentum, I think, is a really good point, Dave, because it really does feel like the program is moving at much faster pace than we were a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
And within the next couple of years, when we see equipment and technology actually flying with the demonstrator and the flight test aircraft, actually seeing stuff flying around is really, wow, there it is. We're going to get there.
Yeah. I think, as you pointed out, it's momentum and pace. And I think there's that pace of doing things, we need to do things differently. We need to think of new ways to reach these goals. We need to and keep to the timescale. We need to do things differently. And in terms of partnership, real success story for us is the work we've been doing with BAE on that effector integration and taking advantage of having the flying demonstrator to think about and develop the new processes and the new certification pathways and test them out really on the demonstration vehicle. And I think that's going to be that's a real sort of example of how we're working together and trying to do these new things to really unlock the things we need to do to get this in service in the timescale that we want to. So I think that's a real success.
I think sometimes it's great to have these opportunities at these big shows to be able to tell those stories, to sort of give those waypoints, because I think it's easy when you're inside a program that's so complex that it's really challenging at times, and I think people listening to this who are working in the program will I think recognise that, and it's such a big thing that we're trying to sort of grasp and move forward. That when you have the opportunities to sort of give these updates to people that are further away from the program for whatever reason, we can I think collectively certainly say that people who learn from those sort of insights are always blown away. It's the same when we have people visit us on sites, and I'm sure it's the same for all the partners. When stakeholders, when customers, whoever they may be, come to see what is happening, one of the key comments we always get is, "My goodness, I did not know that there is this much actually already happening,
Yes.
real work."
Yeah.
I think the outside world, because obviously people don't need to know everything, of course, because of what we're doing, but people don't realise how real this is and how much is happening. So I guess it's always important that we sort of take a step back to reflect on that, because living it daily can be very challenging, but because of the work that all the teams are doing across all the partners, this is moving at pace, and people recognise that, and actually that recognition drives even further interest. So it's a very positive cycle.
Another example of that could be the flight test aircraft.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, we will be, and there will be real progress then when we see this actual technology we're developing, in all the centres, actually seeing it in the air and people in the aircraft operating it, and making sure that that's all fully integrated before it goes into the actual airframe itself that we develop. So again, real progress, real momentum, and we'll see the flight test aircraft. We've seen it flying already, but we'll see it flying with all the sort of different shapes on it fairly soon. That's all happening at the moment, and then we will be filling that aircraft with that tech. One of the things for me though is talking about as we're developing is the excitement and enthusiasm from our international partners as well around the show. Just looking at that huge aeroplane there, wow, and seeing groups of people very enthusiastically briefing in Italian and Japanese and English as well, and sort of showing off, look, this is what we're part of, this is what we're doing, we're part of this team, and that's hugely enthusiastic. Has been great. I've really felt that this week's been good, one of the highlights.
Well, I think every single one of you has already touched on it, but I think Generation Tempest is a huge part of the programme, how we inspire and raise awareness and educate people about the opportunities coming up. And we're sitting here on Thursday at Farnborough. Tomorrow is Pioneers of Tomorrow. Lots of people, young people, are going to be coming around the show, finding out about GCAP and other programmes and what opportunities it offers them. So I think if we could just talk to that and sort of why it's exciting. Liz, if we can come to you first, given your upcoming role, that'd be really, really useful.
Yeah, I mean, this is inspiring, and we've mentioned that word a lot. But equally, we've also mentioned some of the challenges and the need to do things differently and to innovate in some of our approaches, as John touched on there about certification. And that's what we need. We need those new, fresh ideas, the challenge that comes from the next generation, that looks at ways of working. How can we do things differently? How can we turn those challenges into opportunities and look at a different approach to achieving what we need to deliver the capability of the platform?
I think just picking up on that sort of bit different, we embrace different here, I think, and that's fantastic, because everything we do, this has never been done like this before. Clearly, the physical aspects of technology, whatever it is, but in fact, just the relationships, the culture, the trust between the partners, and I like to think that that is very apparent to people that come and meet us, that talk to us, our stakeholders, and I hope for future generations of colleagues that will come and join the programme, that is attractive, and I think it's a really supportive and, as I say, trusting environment to work in, and with fantastic relationships between all the partners as well. So I hope that side of it is also inspiring in a different way for people to come and want to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think as Dave pointed out that that collaboration is key, and what our international partners bring to the programme as well in terms of different approaches, different ways. So we're learning collectively, but that is very much a collaborative and partnered approach from industry and MODs, and that is critical and vital to deliver what we need to deliver here. We have to take that approach.
Okay, well, everyone, it's been a really fascinating conversation, and the show's been fantastic. So thank you everyone for your time. John, Dave, John, Liz, Mark, thank you everyone, and thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Join us again for the next episode of Future Horizons, the Tempest podcast.